Despite a relative inconsistency of test results, the herb Tribulus has stood the test of time as a natural testosterone booster. Hi, I'm Dr. Chris Lockwood, owner and CEO of AP Nutrition, here to provide you science-based intel about the supplements you're most interested in. Today, we'll explore the many facets of puncture vine or devil's claw, better known within the sports nutrition world as the herb Tribulus terrestris. Tribulus is a native ground cover to many parts of the world. Gets its more ominous sounding names, puncture vine, cat's claw, or devil's claw, because of what happens to the flowering fruits when they dry out in late spring. For those of you that mountain bike or hike with a dog in the western United States like I do, you can thank Tribulus for the need to ride on thorn-resistant tubes or having to constantly pull goat head thorns out of Fido's paws. Like all herbs, Tribulus contains many active ingredients. However, its saponins, and specifically the steroidal saponin protodiacin, is currently believed to be the principal active derived from trib. Tribulus has mainly been used as an herbal testosterone booster or included in formulations to increase sex drive, muscle mass, or strength. For example, when researchers from Lithuania recently provided athletes 625 milligrams of a 40% saponin-containing Tribulus 3 times a day for 20 days, they reported that circulating testosterone increased significantly during the first 10 days of the experiment. However, it didn't rise further for the remainder of the study. If Tribulus does affect testosterone levels, it might do so by increasing luteinizing hormone or follicle-stimulating hormone. Another possible explanation of any rise in testosterone is that it could be a secondary response to Tribulus's ability to significantly reduce blood glucose. Aside from a few animal studies that have reported increased body weight in response to Tribulus, the limited human data that's been collected hasn't provided evidence that Tribulus improves body composition or strength beyond that of a placebo. The caveat, though, is that the dose was likely too low in both of the studies that have been conducted. I'll get to that point in a moment when I discuss proper dosing strategy. So like I said, Tribulus is an herb. To use an analogy, just as wine produced from the same species of grape but in different parts of the world will differ, perhaps significantly, all Tribulus products can't be assumed to be identical. In this case, protodiacin concentration, which basically tells you how potent the Tribulus will be, depends on where in the world it was harvested and what part of the plant was used. The highest concentrations tend to come from Turkey, Macedonia, and Bulgaria. Materials from India, China, and Vietnam have reported significantly lower concentrations. If Tribulus does raise natural testosterone levels, its effects appear to be dose-specific. In other words, the delivery of active protodiacin seems to be effective only within a tight range. Too little or too much, and it doesn't appear to work. The sweet spot seems to be consuming enough Tribulus so that you're getting somewhere between 2.3 and 4.6 milligrams of active protodiacin per pound of body weight per day. Look for a Tribulus terrestris extract that's standardized to not less than 6% protodiacin and between 40 and 45% total saponins. My theory is that if Tribulus increases circulating testosterone, then it probably does so secondarily to promoting blood glucose disposal. Therefore, I recommend taking Tribulus on an empty stomach with water only or a no or very low calorie drink. On training days, consume 1 dose when you wake up in the morning and another prior to training. On non-training days, consume the second dose midday. You could consume Tribulus with meals, but I'm more prone to believe that Tribulus works best when blood glucose is at the low end of the normal range. Tribulus is commonly stacked with other herbal testosterone enhancers, anti-estrogens, cortisol blockers, and the like. Personally, I like to keep it simple. Tribulus plus D-aspartic acid, Coleus forskolii, phosphatidylserine, and vitamin D3. If you're 35 or older, add 200 milligrams of DHEA. Sure, there are a ton of other gadgets on the market you could add. Some of them very cool. New ones bubble up to the surface all the time. But I've never been a fan of the kitchen sink formulations that use too little of too many ingredients. Some researchers have suggested that Tribulus may be what's called an adaptogenic herb. Since adaptogens generally only elicit a significant response while they're working to bring your body back into balance, it may be wise to cycle on and off Tribulus as you would any other adaptogen. For example, you might supplement with Tribulus during periods of extremely intense training or dieting, and then cycle off during recovery phases. As with any other ingredient that might affect blood glucose disposal, you could experience some shakiness or lightheadedness if you're extremely sensitive to changes in the amount of glucose present within your blood. Also, if you do experience increased testosterone levels, common side effects are an increase in mental acuity and alertness, as well as increased sex drive and vigor. The data on Tribulus is still inconclusive, but remains promising. The current shortcomings may simply reflect a lack of research to dial in the correct dosing and dosing conditions to optimize the response, but only time will tell. Bodybuilding.com, translating supplement science into real results.